Director is Kevin Shockey. Chief Network Engineer is Jason Gorodetzer. Senior Vice President of the Altitude Radio Network is Dave Fleck.
You want a hard-working team? There it is right there.
This broadcast was a presentation of the National Hockey League and the Altitude Radio Network.
Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Colorado Avalanche post-game coverage continues now. Let's go between the pipes with Alex Ryan-Emmy and Mark Springer on Denver's official home for Avs hockey. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Colton will win the faceoff. McKinnon will kick it back for Dale Makar. Walking the blue line. Now he's got room to shoot. They score! Is it Rossum? No. It is all hail Cale. He's got goals in back-to-back games. One shorthanded, one on the power play. That's now 77 career, which continues to be the most by any defenseman in franchise history. And 31 seconds into the third period, it is 5-1 Avalanche.
You heard it right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 in the final game before the Avs head off to the NHL's All-Star break. They get a 5-1 victory at home over the LA Kings. They sweep the short two-game homestand. They've won 3 straight, 4 out of 5, and they continue to pace the NHL's Central Division at the very top. Nathan MacKinnon extends his Avs home point streak record yet another game with another goal at Ball Arena, and look out for the rest of the league. Logan O'Connor, 3 games removed from his first NHL hat trick, shows up with 2 goals again tonight. He's got multi-point efforts in 4 of his last 5 games. Again, the Avs 5-1 winners at Ball Arena as we welcome you into Between the Pipes here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. I'm your host, Alex Ryan-Emmy, joined this evening not by Steve Nelson, not by Jordan Berg, but the radio machine earning the nickname, my partner and co-host, Mark Springer. What's up, brother?
All right, so let's see. Logan O'Connor, 2 goals tonight, 13 on the season. Man, if he would have gotten a hat trick tonight, 2 in the same week, and we had Logan O'Connor on Kreckman and Lindahl yesterday. They asked him about the bra and the thong that were thrown onto the ice after Nate's 4th goal the other night. And OC, like, he wasn't, like, super down, but he was down. And he wouldn't have been opposed to that becoming a thing. So had he gotten the hat trick tonight, I would have been very curious to see what would have been thrown on the ice. But 13 goals for Logan O'Connor. Damn, dude. Is he going to score 20 goals this season? Logan O'Connor, 20 goal scorer in the NHL. How far we have come if that happens.
I mean, this guy continues to outpace his value. He's a $1 million cap hit for the Avs, and he was found as, I wouldn't say a diamond in the rough, but what Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland have been able to do are finding these college free agents that they just turn into players. They turn into point producers in this league. And that is absolutely vital when you have contracts on this team like McKinnon's and Makar's and Rantanen's, where you're paying superstars loads of money. You have to find guys that are cheap, not only just to be solid, dependable players on the team, but you're telling me Logan O'Connor's got a chance to score 15, maybe even 20 goals this season? Talk about bonus points, man. Like, you can't put a value on that.
Let's see. Kevin Fiala scored his 12th goal for the Kings tonight. 12th of the season. It was the only Kings goal tonight. Quentin Byfield, who was sick tonight, was a late scratch. He's former second overall pick, one of the rising young stars in the league. He scored 14 this season. Kopitar scored 15. Pierre-Luc Dubois, who just got paid a ton of money, has 10 goals this season. Logan O'Connor has 13. Like, that's actually kind of crazy to me, considering maybe it looked like he was going to be like a 4th line guy. He's playing 2nd line right now, and he'll be more of a 3rd line guy when everyone's healthy. That Roaring 20s line is going to be one of the best, if not the best, 3rd line in the NHL. It's just they hit. And the opening wrister, the snipe shelf far side. I mean, what a freaking snipe. And then the one in the slot was really good too. Like, those were legit big boy goals for OC tonight.
OC he's unreal right now. He is fourth on the team in goals behind McKinnon, Rantanen, and Nichushkin, and all three of those players are paid they're paid a ridiculous amount of money over what O'Connor is. Again, I mentioned earlier, O'Connor's just a $1 million hit against the cap. The three players that I just mentioned, McKinnon, 12.6, currently the highest paid player in the National Hockey League before the rest of the extensions that we've seen this year pile on. Rantanen is a $9.25 million hit against the cap. Val Nichushkin, $6.125 million against the cap. And those guys have combined now for, let's say, 49, 31, 80 goals for the Avs this season. And then the next guy you get down to is little Logan O'Connor, who you and I have spent the past few years, kind of joking about. Sure, they're both right-handed shots. O'Connor can skate like the wind, but what you typically don't attribute to him is sure-handedness, the ability to place the puck wherever he wants, right? Like, that's the difference that you and I see when you see 25 streaking down the ice and you think it might be Nathan McKinnon, right? Because they have that same, that powerful, mean stride. Now he's putting two and two together, and if he continues to do this, man, he won't be a $1 million player for long.
He's tied for he is their fourth leading goal scorer this season. Of course, it's McKinnon, Rantanen, Nichushkin. Then it's O'Connor at 13. Then it's Makar at 12. Logan O'Connor is your fourth best goal scorer this season. Like, it's kind of surreal. It's a testament to the player, Logan O'Connor, for putting the work in. It's a testament to this coaching staff for coaching him well and developing him well. It's just an amazing success story. And the fact that he went to the University of Denver and he's spent his entire NHL career with this organization, it's the best success story for the Avs from a developmental standpoint in years. I'm just so happy for OC and for the organization.
Without a doubt. I mean, you look at this guy's progression throughout his career. He had 2 goals in 16 games back in 1920. In 2021, he had 3 goals, 2 assists, and 5 points in 22 games. Then when he started to become a full-time player for this team during the Cup season, he was a fourth liner that was contributing, 20 points here, 20 points there. He had 8 goals in that third season. He had 9 goals the season after that. And now through 47 games, this player's got 13, 11 for 24 points now in the season. He's 2 points shy of his career high. And the guy still has 35 games left to go in this season. What we know about Logan O'Connor is he stays in the lineup. He's healthy, right? He will be playing minutes. Like, this guy's going to shatter his previous career high. He's a bargain for McFarland and Sakic to have on this team. And again, I don't think it can be overstated that when you look at the Avs roster and what the issues were going into this season when we looked at the offseason needs, it was how are you going to fill out what you lost last year, right? What you lost in Kadri and Burakovsky leaving the Cup team, and you saw that last season, right? They were a top-heavy team. Anytime that McKinnon or Rantanen or Makar and Nichushkin were not scoring, the Avs lost hockey games. And then when Makar gets suspended in the playoffs against Seattle, when Nichushkin leaves because of what happened in the hotel, the scoring dried up, and that was the big issue going into the offseason was, well, with no money against the cap, how are you going to fix this? And part of it was, you could say it was a foolhardy strategy, was we hope someone on the roster is going to step into this role. If you asked me if that was going to be Logan O'Connor 6 months ago, I would have told you were crazy.
I was not guessing O'Connor before the start of the season. I was thinking Ross Colton. Jonathan Drouin, and he's been great. He's been great
as of late.
But, he gets the benefit of playing with McKinnon and Rantanen, at least of late he has. And he earned that. He earned that because he was, he started the season with those two. Then Bednar took him away from those two because he didn't start the season that well. And then he earned his way back up into that spot. But still, and credit to him for earning his way back up, no doubt about it. But, he's still playing with McKinnon and Rantanen. O'Connor's playing with Wood and Colton. And what he's doing is just great. That roaring 20s line, man, it's a thing. It's absolutely a thing. That third line is going to be huge in the playoffs.
Yeah, it is a joy to watch. I expect them to play together for the rest of the season. It doesn't matter who comes back and is healthy. I think you keep those three players together come hell or high water, and you slot in the Nichushkins and the Landeskog's wherever you can on that second line, and then you bump a couple of guys down. The Wood, Colton, and O'Connor have to stay together. Like, you have found magic in a bottle, and that doesn't happen all the time, right? Like, you can't just say because you have other marquee players or other players that were slotted ahead of that unit or that were slotted to be what that third line is coming back into the lineup, you can't change it, right? Like, when you find something that works, Bednar has to stick with it, and I think he's going to do that. I don't know if there's anything that can mix up that line. They play with intensity. They're fast. They are strong defensively. They play from their own end out, and I don't think there's a line that the Avs have that, especially in the offensive zone, that has that type of forechecking pressure, that physical pressure that Colton, Wood, and O'Connor bring.
All three can play on the penalty kill. Logan O'Connor is a great penalty killer. Ross didn't play there tonight, but he can. Miles Wood obviously plays there. You got Lehkonen back, who is such a pest there. I thought Lehkonen looked good. I thought I saw a step from him tonight. Like, there was a moment, I think it was in the first period, and this game got out of hand, so the intensity kind of died down a little bit, but it was really in that first period where the Avs won it 3-0, where they were buzzing the most, and Artturi Lehkonen playing on this weird makeshift line of Ryan Johansson, Lehkonen, and Cogliano. Lehkonen had a couple looks in the slot where even at his little 5'10" frame or whatever it is, you're reminded. I was reminded right there how important he is to this team. His ability to get into those dirty areas, and he's an absolute pest in there. He was causing issues on this shift that third line. That's now your third line right now that they were having in that moment where Lehkonen got a couple scrappy, hard-working looks where he had to sacrifice his body to get his puck on the or to stick on the puck. Artturi Lehkonen, man, he looked like he knocked some rust off after his debut back from injury the other night.
It's not hard for me to overstate just how much I love that player. And not only because he does everything that a coach would ask for in terms of his defensive abilities, but because of how responsible he is in the neutral zone. I still think he's one of the best neutral zone forechecking forwards in the NHL. But more so, his ability to get the best out of every player that he plays with, right? Like, Artturi Lehkonen is a fast guy. Is he the fastest player in the world or on this team? No, he's not. But he's now being placed on a line with Andrew Cogliano, who can still move, right? But he's not as fleet-footed as he once was. And then a notoriously slower skater as compared to the rest of his teammates and the pace of this team in Ryan Johansson. Johansson's possession numbers have never been better as an Av than when he plays with Artturi Lehkonen. So, as the one experiment that hasn't necessarily worked out perfectly from the offseason acquisitions, and that's Ryan Johansson, the way to get the most out of him at this point in his career, handcuff him right now to Artturi Lehkonen. Handcuff him.
Yeah.
Make sure that guy plays with him for as long as possible, and then, maybe when you get some of these bigger guns back, and Nichushkin's back, or Landeskog comes in, then you move Artturi off, and then you bolster your top six very, very heavily. Until that happens, Artturi Lehkonen should not leave Ryan Johansson's side.
I found it funny. Ryan Johansson was getting some shorthanded minutes, some penalty kill minutes in the back half of that game. I ain't seen him out there much this season because he's not going to be that fast skating, aggressive, checker that you want as a forward, but I think that the Avs were up 5-1, so they were like, screw it, let's put Ryan Johansson out there on the penalty kill. And then speaking of career highs tonight, Josh Manson scored his 6th goal of the season, his career high. This is surprising to me. I didn't quite realize this. His career high for goals scored in a season is 7 back in the 17-18 season with the Anaheim Ducks. Josh Manson had some good years, it felt like, with the Ducks, but not much of a goal scorer, actually. More of that bigger physical defenseman. And here he is scoring his 6th of the season. And he's missed some time this year, so he scored 6 while missing a handful of games. And he's on pace for a career high. He's playing great. He was a player I was a little critical of in the first few months of the season, and over the past few weeks, Josh Manson is starting to round into form. And then Cale Makar scoring that power play goal. Raj, 9 shots on goal for Cale Makar tonight. 9 shots on goal. That is efficient chance creating from the blue line by Cale Makar tonight.
Without a doubt. I mean, those players that are able to create offense from the blue line for this team, it's what drives the bus spring. Makar obviously is a generational talent. He is one of the very best that we have ever seen in this game. For him to put up 9 shots from the blue line is almost unheard of. In my internet right now,
we lost you on Twitch, but I still got you on the live. Yeah,
the internet is crapping out here in my hotel, but I was trying to pull up the most shots in a game by an NHL defenseman. 9 has to be pretty far up there.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, those are Alex Ovechkin numbers in his heyday, when he was scoring 50, 55, 60 goals a year. That dude was putting up 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shots. This is a defenseman doing this. It's unheard of.
And all, it's good to see Josh Manson playing his best right now. Obviously, Cale's doing what he's doing, and I still think he's a little banged up. He's going to the All-Star game, right? Cale Makar, he's going to the All-Star game? I believe
yes,
so.
Yes, you'll have Georgiev, McKinnon, and Makar as all-stars.
Yeah.
Both Makar and McKinnon are going to be part of that 12-player slate that will participate in the All-Star Skills Competition, with the winner walking away with $1 million.
And did you see, was this a real quote from Bowen Byram today, that he said that Cale promised all the defensemen he'd give them each $100,000 if what? Hold on, I need to pull this up. Did you see this quote?
Byram said that if Makar wins, he pledged the entire blue line in the Avs locker room that they're going to get $100,000.
So, if Makar is participating in the skills competition.
Yes, both he and McKinnon are participating in the skills competition. There are 12 players this year that will compete in an array of events. So, like, what you used to see over the last few seasons is you'd have the skills competition day, but different players would compete in their own individual event. Now you have 12 guys competing in the same events, and it's kind of just like I wouldn't say it's a round robin, but the guy with the most points at the end of, let's say, 6 events is going to win this thing.
Oh, so the winner gets $1 million.
Correct.
The winning skater, one player, walks away with $1 million.
That is correct. And they'll be in hardest shot, they'll be in fastest skater, they'll be in accuracy shooting, all those things.
Oh, so they're going to compete in every single competition, and it's like it's like an aggregate score. It's like a what's that thing that those the triathlon, that stuff, that type of deal.
Yeah, that's it. I believe if I'm correct, there are 6 events, and then each player is required to compete in no more and no less than 4 of those 6 events, and the player with the highest amount of points gets to walk away with $1 million check.
And so
it's essentially like having the NBA All-Star game, and you're going to put Steph Curry not only in the 3-point shootout, but you're going to put him in that dribbling competition, but he also has to go and dunk against Aaron Gordon.
Sure, yeah. So we're gonna find the most well-rounded All-Star here. Dude, Cale's got a real good chance of winning that. And so does McKinnon as well.
I think both of them have better shots than pretty much anyone. McKinnon can arguably win hardest shot. He can certainly win fastest skater. So can Cale. For your money, which one of those two would you put money on?
Oh,
It'd be really tough to have like a losing proposition.
yeah, no, they're both great bets. Like honestly, like this is where we're like McDavid's the other one. Like I would go McDavid, McKinnon, or Makar is your three favorites to win this thing. I should pull up odds to see what the odds are. But Makar apparently refuted Bo's claim that he promised each defenseman $100,000 if he won. Cale said, quote, "That'd be taking money out of my pocket with all the taxes that would be hitting on the $1 million. He might get a little nice gift or something like that, maybe a box of chocolates or something."
Well, that was so you asked if the quote was real. I didn't know if the quote was real. Like Bowen said that before the game.
But
so
did
the
Cale
quote was
actually
real.
say it to him? Yeah.
Now
We don't know.
we know he may not have, but who knows? The guys are having a couple of pops after the game, and 2 or 3 Coors Lights down. If Cale just signed a huge ticket, so that's going to come out of your own pocket. You got way more money than the other guys in that blue line, Cale.
And one thing I wanted to bring up with Manson playing his best right now, Cale keeps doing his thing. Bo has looked he was a +3 tonight. Bowen Byram was a +3. I thought he looked good tonight. And, with all of the, now Bo is back. Sam Girard has been back for a couple weeks now. Sam Malinsky goes down to the Eagles, and Jack Johnson was a little banged up. He played tonight. So Sam Malinsky back with the Eagles, Raj. His future is extremely bright, but they're going to lean veteran with Jack Johnson, and Sam's going to play. He's going to get Cale Makar minutes down with the Eagles. That's how you develop somebody.
Right, that's exactly what they want to do. They like Sam Malinsky. They know he can play at this level, but what you can also do is you can burn a player out pretty quickly. We saw it with, I hate to use this player because of the media storm that he's going through right now, possibly of his own doing. This is the goaltender Carter Hart for Philadelphia, right? He's obviously on a leave of absence dating back to the 2018 sexual assault allegations for the Canadian World Junior team. 5 players, 4 of which are currently in the NHL, have reported to London, Ontario to face questionings about this alleged sexual assault. Carter Hart is one of those players. But take that aside and just look at Carter Hart, the hockey player. Philadelphia almost ruined Carter Hart as a goalie because they were starting him as a 19-year-old and playing him day in and day out, and there were days where he flashed and he looked great and he looked like the next Vezina Trophy winning goaltender for the Flyers, and then he took this huge dip down to the point where he almost got ran out of town, right? So the Avs can run into that issue if they start to play these untested, unproven players a little bit too much, especially when the game gets harder, tougher, and tighter checking as the season goes along and into the playoffs. I appreciate them sending him back down. They know he's going to be in the long-term plans for this team. It's funny because I was talking to people over Twitter today. Obviously, the Avs go out. They make a splashy signing of a veteran player. Zach Parise signs for the veteran minimum, $850,000. It's prorated to under $400,000 for the remainder of the season. There are no performance bonuses for Zach Parise. So you're essentially getting a guy who scored 21 goals not 7 months ago in this league for free, for a stick of gum is what you're getting him for. And the question was, Spring, is, well, with all of these young players that the Avs have with the Eagles in the AHL, I don't like this signing. Why are they bringing in a 39-year-old to do this? Well, because the Avs, as much as they love these young players, the Malinskys, the Tufties, and they do love Riley Tufte, not only do they have to worry about waiver issues with some of those players, but they don't know just how dependable they can be when it gets down into crunch time. And right now you're in a cup window, and what you need are dependable players. You need to know what the commodity is going to give you on a nightly basis. And you know what I know, Spring? Zach Parise is going to be a solid two-way player with a wonderful net front presence, and he can kill penalties. I don't know if Riley Tufte can do that on a daily basis at this point in his career. It's a good signing.
Yeah. By the way, I want to give credit to Ryan Bolding of NHL.com, who had the Byram and Makar quotes, and then Arif Dean, post game of Mile High Sports, got a quote from Mikko Rantanen. And Mikko said that Gabe Landeskog and Nathan MacKinnon were both involved in helping get Zach Parise to sign with Colorado. So does that not tell you all you need to know? That they know, Landeskog and McKinnon know that Zach Parise has had a very good NHL career. Not like an elite NHL career, but a high-level, very respectable NHL career. He's a responsible, smart player, can score goals, can do things offensively, can do things defensively for you. They know his mettle and what he would bring to that locker room and to that team.
Parise is he's a Hall of Very Good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's certainly he'll be a USA Hockey Hall of Famer.
Yes.
That's who he is. He's a guy who scored almost 900 points in this league. He signed a huge deal, obviously, leaving New Jersey to go over to Minnesota. The matching deals with Ryan Suter, and then both of those were bought out in 2021. Suter then moving on to Dallas, and Parise moving on to the New York Islanders to have varying degrees of success. Like, Suter is still a solid middle pairing D-man, bordering on third pairing D-man in this league right now. He's lost a step, but like, to score 20 goals in this league, it's not very easy, and he did that just last season in Parise. So he's Hall of Very Good in terms of all NHL players. He is a USA Hockey Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. And you now live in this spot, Spring, where the Avs are in the NHL's equivalent to the NBA's buyout market, right? That's who you are now. You're going to have all of these veteran players that either want to chase another cup before they're done, or they want to chase their first cup before it's done, and they still have a little bit left in the tank, and you can get these guys again. I'm telling you, you got Zach Parise for couch change, right? Like, $850,000 on a one-year deal prorated to half the season is nothing against the cap. And now for the remainder of the Landeskog, Rantanen, Makar, McKinnon years, you're going to live in that existence of, like, there's going to be a bunch of dudes from 35 to 39 years old that still probably have a year or a year and a half of pretty damn good hockey left in them that want to come play here for pennies.
Look, I think that for this season, for Zach Parise, knowing he was a free agent in the offseason, but also knowing he's 39 years old, this seems to be a calculated move on his part to, like, what's the point of him playing in October, November, December, or even January? He's not going to debut with this team until February. What's the point in that? There's no point. Why give yourself any bump or bruise? Why do that to your 39-year-old body? It's actually a very smart move, and it's not. Clearly, there's no money motivation at this point in his career. I mean, he'll make a little money. That's good money. I'll take that money that he's making, but he just wants to win a cup, and he wanted to preserve his body, and he's going to the team that thinks that gives him the best chance. This could be like I'm going to call it a baby version of Joe Pavelski for the Avs. Joe Pavelski, 39 years old. Zach Parise, 39 years old. Both over the course of the last decade, over the course of the 2010s, two of the better USA hockey players. Now, are you going to get Pavelski-level production like we saw that he's given the Dallas Stars since going to them, coming over from the Sharks? I don't think you're going to get that from Parise, but it's the sentiment, though, to me remains the same. I think you're going to get a sneaky level of production from him. He's just had a better career than a Tomas Tatar. Tatar scored 20 goals with the Devils last season, didn't work out with Colorado. He's seemed to play pretty well with the Kraken going over there in the trade, and he's gotten some top-line minutes with them. But Parise he's just a higher level than Tomas Tatar. I think this one is going to be really good for Colorado.
Right, and it's going to be good if you have the proper expectations. If you expect this to be Zach Parise of 2012, you're going to be disappointed, and I'll tell you that straight up. But the Avs do not expect that to happen. They are understanding we're going to get a guy who, if he were to play 82 games this year, would probably cap out at somewhere around 30 total points. what Parisi is being signed to do right now is to play bottom 6 minutes. He will be a third or a fourth line left wing on this team. He'll give you another option on power play too. He'll probably play net front on power play too, or at least in the bumper position. So you get a little bit more scoring, certainly more net front and tipping prowess on your power play unit. And he also showed that when he was playing for Lou Lamoriello in New York with the Islanders, that dude can kill penalties, and you can never have enough of those players on this team to be a Swiss Army knife. Zach Parise will be a bottom 6 player on this team. It's a wonderful signing. He is a former captain in this league of not only one team, but 2 different clubs in the NHL, which not a lot of guys have done over the history of the league. I love the signing. It's a good culture signing, a good fit, and I cannot wait to see what he can do after the NHL's All-Star break is up. The Avs win 5-1 this evening as they head into the break. First place in the Central Division. You're listening to Between the Pipes right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 with Raj and Spring.
And the Avalanche work to get it out. Nathan MacKinnon over for Byram. He's got to work to clear the zone. And fortunately, he just rolls it right out. Mistake here again. Here's Nathan MacKinnon from Jonathan Drouin. MacKinnon! He scores! The Mac attack is back, Jack! And the streak, it's alive! Nathan MacKinnon points in every single home game this season, 25 in a row. That ties Bobby Orr for the second most in NHL history to start a season. Next up, it's the Great One.
He passes Bobby Orr. Wayne Gretzky, happy birthday, by the way, today. Wayne Gretzky is next up. It's not like he's around the corner, though. MacKinnon would have to do this for another 15 straight games to tie the Great One at 40. Gretzky had points in the first 40 home games of the 1988-1989 season with the LA Kings. In order for MacKinnon to do that this season, if he were to have points in every single one of his home games, that would mean he would tie Gretzky's record on Saturday, April 13th at home at 3 p.m. against the Winnipeg Jets, and then he would have a chance to beat that record in the 41st home game of the season, which is Thursday, April 18th against Gretzky's first team, the Edmonton Oilers, on the very final day of the regular season, Spring.
I think he tied Bobby Orr tonight.
Oh, I thought he passed him. He tied?
Tied him at 25. Bobby Orr in 74-75. Look, Cale Makar came oh so close to breaking that Bobby Orr record a few games ago, where he would have been the fastest defenseman to 300 points, but he came a point shy, I think, from tying Bobby Orr. Now Bobby's got to try to hold off Nate. Bobby Orr, I am sure, undoubtedly in heaven right now, is like, what the hell, guys? What's with these two Avs dudes?
Did you just kill Bobby Orr?
Oh, he's still alive?
Bobby Orr's very much still kicking.
Oh, he's got to be super old.
He's not that old. Bobby Orr
Really?
retired. Bobby Orr retired
75.
crazy early.
Okay, no,
right?
he's still
like
alive.
You would think Bobby Orr is like 85. You're trying to kill Bobby Orr, number 4 on this show.
I guess I haven't confirmed that. Maybe I was thinking like how Gordie Howe's dead. I was like, oh, Bobby's gone too.
Wade Boggs would be rolling in his grave.
Well, he's watching,
It's
being
always
like, come on, guys, come on, these are my records.
Yeah, listen, MacKinnon is doing ridiculous things. That guy is the MVP. I was tweeting out earlier today that, a tired take is Nathan MacKinnon for MVP, but the wired take now is Logan O'Connor for the MVP. What if we have co-MVPs this season? Just give it to LOC and MacKinnon at the same time.
Can Nate get to 40? Can he tie Wayne? Can he pass Wayne?
Games.
It is a lot of games, but I tell you what, man, how is this thing still going in late January? It's a home point streak, so it's a little niche. But still, you're supposed to play better at home. You're supposed to have an advantage at home, and these great ones are certainly taking advantage of that. I don't know, man. Like, that's one of those records, like, some of these Wayne Gretzky records feel unbreakable, but this one actually, I don't know, man.
Well, the next time that MacKinnon's going to have the ability to garner another home point won't be until all the way into middle February, right? The Avs don't play at home again until February 18th, right? They're on this bye week / All-Star break week up until Monday, February 5th, but that starts the season-long 6-game road trip where they go to the Rangers, the Devils, the Carolina Hurricanes, Florida Panthers, Washington, and they finish up in Tampa. So those are 5 out of those 6 games are certainly difficult games. You could argue that the Washington one, because I think you really saw who Washington was a couple of nights ago, is the cupcake game out of those 6. they don't return home until Sunday when they take on the Arizona Coyotes on the 18th. So it's going to be quite a while until he has that opportunity. The remaining games, Arizona, they're playing better than who they are. However, I do agree with you. They're building good things there down in the desert. You'll see the Vancouver Canucks at home, who are the best team in the Pacific as of right now.
This is going to be a fun
and then
one.
You'll see I think it's going to be a great game. Toronto is one that I would expect him to have points in because Toronto can't defend a Pee Wee hockey club right now. Dallas will be the toughest one out of those next 4 home games for him to garner a point in. I think Dallas is coming back down to earth right now, but while I don't believe that the Stars are who they were at the beginning of the season when they were really, really consistent in terms of grabbing points, I certainly don't think they are who they've been for the last 15 games. They're somewhere in the middle. They're better defensively than what they've shown as of late. They had to claw back last night against the Anaheim Ducks in the third period and in overtime to win that game. They're better than what they showed last night. That's probably going to be the toughest one.
And the Avs
over
are
the next 4 games at least.
20-5, 25-0 at home this season. It looks like the next best is the Bruins, those mighty regular season Bruins at 16-4-3. Man, 25-0 at home is damn impressive. You're supposed to play better at home. You're supposed to hold your home ice, and 25-0 is doing that and then some, to be honest with you. So, look, it's Nate has a point in all 25 of those home games. So I see a universe where this continues, and we're looking at this being like, dude, it's just the lock of the century is Nate to get a point at home. It's just what it is right now.
Yeah, eventually the sports books are going to catch up, and that's going to be a losing proposition at one point. But McKinnon continues to pile them up, Spring.
And speaking, you said that there are some teams like Winnipeg. Kyle Connor's back right now, but they've lost 2 in a row. Can they really keep up the pace they've been playing at? I mean, goodness, like Winnipeg's good, but 30-11-5, holy crap. Like on paper, that team should really not be 30-11-5. Kyle Connor is back. Scheifele's a little banged up, though. So we'll see if they can keep that up. Look, the team that the Avs saw tonight, the LA Kings, they only have 2 wins in the month of January. They have now lost 13 out of their last 15, I think it is. Look, man, for all the hate that like Alexander Georgiev gets, I'll take him over the Cam Talbot, David Riddick combination.
Without a doubt.
We saw both of them tonight. I'll take him over those 2 all day.
Without a doubt. You mentioned they have struggled mightily ever since the calendar turned, and they've been letting up 3, 4, 5 goals in every single one of those games outside of a couple of 2-1 matchups against Nashville and New York on January 18th and the 20th. They lost a 2-1 game, and then they won a 2-1 game on the 18th and the 20th there. Outside of that, they've been giving up on average 4.3 goals over that stretch that dates back to December 28th. Like that's difficult to overcome, right? Like you can't outscore your problems all that often when you're giving up north of 4 goals a game. The goaltending has come back down to earth. That's something that you said early on in this season, right? When I said the team that I was most scared about in the Pacific was the LA Kings, you looked at me and you go, you're really terrified of Cam Talbot? Like you think that's going to hold up? It looks like it's not going to, Mark.
But yeah, dude, I was with you. I mean, I like this Kings. I like the
love
skaters.
the roster.
I like the skaters. Yeah, the goaltending concerned me from the start of the season, and it's starting to prove true and through that is their bugaboo. And look, it's just the way that the Western Conference is with goaltending right now. It's why Alexander Georgiev is an all-star. It's why Stuart Skinner was an all-star for the Oilers last year. So for everyone who has Georgiev concerns, and he only allowed the 1 goal tonight, that save percentage has got to be getting closer and closer to 90. It's going to be a hallelujah day when he gets, I mean, dude, with the day that Georgiev gets back to the 90 save percentage, there's going to be like a Bronx cheer for that.
He may have gotten there tonight. Oh, he's at 899, Spring. No. He was so close, Spring.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. He's going to get there.
.899 is the save percentage this season. So damn close. He's a .909 save percentage over the course of his career. Yeah, .899. So he's right there. He had a .965 save percentage tonight.
And he's been working that back up. You know, he's been much better over the past month plus, really, to be honest with you. So, in an overall sense, is he a deserving all-star goaltender? Probably not. But again, it goes to show the competition in the Western Conference and how Alexander Georgiev can more than hold his own with his fellow Western Conference goaltenders.
Hey, you know what? I hate to be this guy that I'm going to use a very broad brushstroke here. Win the damn hockey game, right? Like at some point, right? Just like pitching wins in Major League Baseball is a largely flawed statistic. So is goaltending wins in the NHL. But at the end of the day, the goal is to win the hockey game. So at some point, you have to look at him still continuing to pace the league in wins because he plays so often. It matters that you're in there winning hockey games. Sure, there are a few games where he got bailed out by his team. Yes, but more often than not, he is a fine NHL goaltender in this league, and he is more than capable when the team is healthy and playing like they have been over the last month and a half.
And hey, don't look now, but tonight, and I'm sure we'll look around the NHL scoreboard in the upcoming segment, but here's one for you. The Vegas Golden Knights went into Madison Square Garden, and Igor Shesterkin allowed 4 goals. Shesterkin has faced the Golden Knights in 2 of his last 4 starts, allowed 4 goals in both of them. Had a 4-goal performance where he allowed 4 goals in St. Louis, allowed 5 goals to the Canucks, allowed 6 goals to the Hurricanes to start January. And I saw some on Twitter being like, hey, you guys, you should be panicking about Igor Shesterkin, who is 28 years old, and I think Georgiev is like 27. Hey, look, play the long game here. We're still not out of the realm of possibility of looking back on this thing and saying the Rangers got rid of the wrong guy.
Hey, that's a big bet to push.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
I would say if Shesterkin never returns to form, right? Like if he never gets back to 2 years ago Vezina winning Shesterkin, you could look at the situation and what they will be paying him over the course of his career, and they'll look at Georgiev's number here in Colorado and go, while we could not get a Cale Makar here in New York, while Adam Fox is a stud, don't get me wrong, he ain't Cale Makar. There's a chance where they'll look back at this and go, based off of dollar amount and bang for my buck, they may have moved on for the wrong guy. I'm not willing to say it right now because I think Shesterkin, as of this point in his career, is leaps and bounds better than Georgiev, but he's also got a Vezina trophy, right? Like, it's not easy to win one of those things. So I'll bet on Shesterkin more so than Georgiev at this point in their career. The door is open, though. I'll give you that. The door is open.
Look, it's plus money, and don't get me wrong, but and again, Georgiev, I just confirmed it. He's 27. Shesterkin's 28. So, hey, Shesterkin's closer to getting older than Georgiev is, although they're both right there in the prime of their careers. And then last thing for you, this month of January, Igor Shesterkin, 87% on the save percentage. Alexander Georgiev, 88.8. He beat him. He beat his boy.
By a tick. All right, Raj and Spring here, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. It's Between the Pipes. Avs win 5-1. They're heading into the break. On the other side, we'll bring you through the NHL scoreboard. We will prep you for when the Avs come back after the NHL's All-Star break, and we'll get you some Bet the Pipes. While the Avs are off for the next few days, there's still some NHL games going on tomorrow, and we will guarantee that we can get you guys some picks. Raj and Spring, it's Altitude. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Alex Ryan-Emi alongside Mark Springer. It's Between the Pipes. Avs win 5-1 as they head into the NHL's All-Star break. Currently in first place in the Central Division. They get yet another multi-point effort at home from Nathan MacKinnon. Logan O'Connor joins in the fun yet again with a 2-goal effort this evening. And Colorado continues to buzz up the NHL standings. 5-1 is your final as we bring you into the NHL scoreboard update tonight. The Golden Knights beat the Rangers, as Spring mentioned, 5-2. They get a Jonathan Marchessault hat trick, 3 goals on the evening. Adin Hill makes 36 stops on 38 opportunities as Vegas goes into Madison Square Garden and gets the Rangers. Spring, Rangers are they're feeling a little lost right now.
You know what the Rangers' problem is, and it's a lot like, why like I like the Kings, but I put a ceiling on them, is I think that, the best teams, and maybe like one exception to this is Vegas, and them being an expansion team kind of changes the narrative around them a little bit, but you need your guys. You need your draft picks to step up. Like Alexis Lafreniere, Capo Caco. Like, if you're New York, you ultimately need those guys to take the leap.
Philip Hedl.
Yep, and they're good. Like, Quentin Byfield, I think, the Avs, maybe a little bit like, I don't think it would have made a difference, but he's a good young player. He was sick. He was a late scratch tonight. But even him, you need him to, like, break out. You need some of these young Rangers dudes to break out. You can't be relying on, like, free agent signings and, like, Panarin alone. You need your homegrown guys to break out. The Avs, are the beneficiaries of, being bad and getting top picks. And top picks, you're going to get a better chance. So the Rangers have a lot of top picks. You need those guys to take steps.
Without a doubt, right? Like, so all of the defensive prospects for the Rangers have kind of hit. Right, like Keandre Miller has been fine, and Adam Fox, when they signed him, right, he was originally a Chicago draft pick, and Fox ends up signing with the Rangers. Those guys have hit. The Lindgrens have hit. Finding Jacob Trouba and turning him into a stud on that team has been a hit, but the forwards just simply haven't gotten there. What they need is what Chris Kreider brought to the team in 2012. Remember when he came in as a rookie from Boston College, and he kind of set the Rangers on fire when they were knocking on the door to winning cups during that Henrik Lundqvist and Rick Nash, Marian Gaborik, Martin St. Louis days down there on Broadway. They ended up getting stonewalled by who the Avs saw tonight in the Los Angeles Kings. Ironically, their backup goaltender now, Jonathan Quick, who grew up in the Connecticut, New York area, was the guy that stopped them to. They probably should have won a cup or two during the 2010s, right? New Jersey beats them in 7 games. I believe the year after that. The year before that was a 7-game series where Jersey goes to the Cup final and loses to those same Los Angeles Kings in the Cup final 2 years previous in what was the last, hurrah for Martin Brodeur. Kreider showed up as a rookie, and he was a stud. Carl Hagelin showed up as a young player and was a stud. Derek Stepan showed up as a young player and was a stud. Ryan Callahan. All of those guys were draft picks, right? They were NHL grown picks for the Rangers. None of their forwards are hitting. You hit it right on the nose, Spring.
Yeah, Mika Zibanejad, as a Senator to start his career. They've had some good free agent signings. You become championship medal through the draft.
Point.
Yeah.
It's a great point, right? You have to supplement through free agency and trading. You have to build through the draft, build through your system. That's why the Avs are so successful right now, right?
Yeah.
All of those guys are homegrown, and then you get to pick the Arturi Lekkonens, the Val Nichushkins, the Andre Burakovskis, the Nazem Kadris. You get to pick and place those guys, but who has to hit? McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen, Makar, those guys
and then
have to hit.
then Logan O'Connor right now is just the absolute cherry on top. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just
undrafted but homegrown, so it's beautiful.
Unbelievable. You got to absolutely love it. All right, going through the rest of the NHL scoreboard this evening, the Panthers get a 3-2 victory on the road over the Penguins in the shootout. Bobrovsky makes 35 saves on 37 shots against. Evgeny Malkin scored a goal to tie this one up in the third period for the Pens, but it was not enough, who fall to 21-17 and 7. The only other game this evening just went final. The Blues 4-3 overtime winners over the Kraken. Pavel Buchnevich, one of those former New York Ranger draft picks who's actually playing well with his next team, wins it for St. Louis.
He scored twice tonight. And he had an assist, and he's a +2. So sometimes you love it when the story comes together, and it did tonight in the NHL.
All right, Spring, let's go through the NHL tomorrow night, get some people, some winners. Obviously, the Avs are going to be off for the next few days. We've got an 11:30 a.m. game. That's our start tomorrow. The Bruins against the Flyers. Bruins are -155 road favorites. And then you've got a few of them sprinkled throughout the day. You have a 1 p.m. Sorry, I'm in Central Time and in Dallas right now. So back in the Mountain Time Zone, that'll be a 10:30 start for Bruins and Flyers. Then you'll get a noon start for the Capitals and Stars. Sabres, Sharks, and then Predators, Oilers will be at 2 p.m. Mountain. Maybe I'll go to that Dallas game before I have to coach tomorrow night. That might be a fun one. Go see Alexander Ovechkin here at the United Center. Because I have boots on the ground, Spring, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the over 6.5 in Capitals Stars at even money, and then I'm going to parlay that even money bet with the Bruins to go on the road and beat the Flyers on the money line. Put those two together, you get a nice even +230.
So, if you like a main line of NHL hockey in your veins, like a full slate of NHL hockey, tomorrow's your last day for over a week. Now, and I bring this up because we had a texter say, are you concerned about the break for the Avs? This was earlier in the show. I'll read it now. Are you concerned about the break for the Avs and the rust coming back? Well, most teams are going to have some time off here. They're going to have this entire week off. There's a handful of teams that are playing this week. We got 2 games on Sunday. We have 1 game on Monday. We have 2 games on Tuesday and 3 on Wednesday. So very light NHL slate. It looks like most of these teams are going to join the Avs and get a little bit of an extended rest before All-Star weekend. So my point there is that most of the league is going to be having a little bit of an extended break here. So the playing field is pretty even. I mean, this is a professional Avs team. They will be fine coming out of this break. But yeah, so tomorrow, loaded slate. Man, hey, congrats on that Canadiens pick you got right the other night. I should have tailed you on that. I went with the Senators. They lost in overtime. I was bummed, and I took that pick seriously. I'm not taking these picks tomorrow seriously, so maybe this will help, actually. Why don't we go with the Edmonton – we'll do a parlay here. We'll go with the Edmonton Oilers to win at minus –
16 straight.
Yeah, they're minus 205 at home against the Predators. That'll put them within 1 game of the early 90s Penguins, who have the all-time NHL win streak at 17. So the Oilers with a win tomorrow will get 1 behind that all-time win streak. I do wonder if this will be a tight one, though. Like, the longer you get into these win streaks, the tougher they become. And Nashville has been a formidable opponent this season for teams. But screw it. Let's go with the Oilers minus 205. And let's look at something at night, something to keep me occupied in the evening. What if I did that? What odds would that give me? Okay, that's not bad. All right, I'm going to go with the Calgary Flames minus 298, essentially minus 300 to beat the Blackhawks. Still no Connor Bedard. That comes in at minus 102. So it's damn near even odds for an Oilers-Flames parlay to win tomorrow.
There you go. The Battle of Edmonton, the Battle of Alberta, hopefully working in your pocket on your betting app there, Spring. That's going to do it for us until February 5th. That's the next time you guys are going to hear our voices after a road game. The Avs will take on the New York Rangers from Madison Square Garden, 5 p.m. puck drop, 4:30 p.m. right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. That's not until Monday, February the 5th. For Mark Springer doing double duty, the radio machine, I'm Alex Ryan. Thank you guys so much for listening on a late Friday evening. Avs win 5-1. Nathan MacKinnon scores in his 25th consecutive home game, and we will talk to you in a handful of days. Enjoy NHL's All-Star Weekend, guys. Spring, love you, buddy. And I'm signing off from Dallas.
Peace.